So you guys know, before I get into this, how much I like weird shit, right? Okay. All right. Your airport did not disappoint. All right. You ready? So I don't know why I see so much crazy. I know why, because it's the airport and people are fucking tense. But I see a lot of weird shit at airports. And so Jacob and I were getting off the plane. It was pretty early in the morning. And maybe from me to that first riser right there, this man and this woman are arguing with each other. And she's like, "That's exactly what it smells like." And he goes, "What are you talking about? We're in the airport." She goes, "It doesn't matter. That's exactly what it smells like. Don't tell me that's not what it smells like." And he goes, "I have no idea what you're saying." And he turns to Jacob and me and he goes, "Guys, smell this." And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here." I am not playing smell my finger with a stranger at the airport. Fuck you. And don't come at me like this. Are you crazy? But it just shows me how nice people in Canada are. Because he went at it like it was a problem. I'm sure somebody went like, "Yeah, I'll do it for you."
Vancouver, make it loud for my dad, Joshua!
Hey, one more time for Jacob, everybody. Let him hear it one more time for Jacob Wolf. Oh, and the very funny Lisa Yatt. Super fucking funny. I gotta tell you, man, it's so much fun traveling with Jacob. He's never been, yeah, it's really the time. Did anybody come here with their parents tonight? Yeah. Well, this is your kid right here. How old are you, dude? 16. That's how he's gonna laugh. Fantastic. Okay. Well, listen, man. When it gets to the real uncomfortable parts for you to be in front of your mom to hear, I'm gonna walk over and say them right to your fucking faces. No. Oh boy, maybe, but no, probably not. All right, maybe. I'm excited when people come. I really am. I'm excited when people bring their kids to the shows. It's always awesome, you know. I love traveling with Jacob. I don't know if you guys fuck with your kids. It's funny, he was home for a little bit over quarantine, like probably a lot of people's kids were. Yeah. And listen, my wife and I are empty nesters. We are used to being able to have sex whenever we want, wherever we want. And so one night, I was kind of horny, and I said to Beth, I go, "Hey," we were in our room, I go, "Hey, you want to roll around?" She goes, "Jacob's home." And I was like, "We'll turn up the TV." And she goes, "He's not 8. And I was like, "Yeah, but let's give it a try, you know." So we have sex, and then the next morning I come downstairs, and Jacob is already eating cereal at the dining room table, and he's like this. And I go, "How's it going, buddy?" He goes, "Not great." I was like, "What's going on?" He goes, "Do you have to have sex in the house?" "In the house. You have to have sex in the house?" And I was like, where do you want me to have sex?" And he goes, "I don't know, anywhere but in the house. New rule. No more having sex when I'm in the house. New rule." And I was like, "Dude, you don't get to make rules. This is my house. I will wipe my dick on the butter if I want to. Do you understand? I might have sex tomorrow in your room, otherwise known as my other room, dude. Shut the fuck up with your rules." Yeah. And you know, a lot of people ask me why I don't tell more stories about my 2 oldest kids. And the truth is, I used to only tell stories about them. But by the time you guys found me, the only person left at my house doing dumb shit was fucking And so, look, man, and I raised 3 kids by myself for a little while. And if you have ever raised kids without money, you know that sometimes you are the entertainment, right? You can't pay for it, so you have to invent something fun. And so I know some people have some parenting hacks. I'm going to throw one out for you. So we couldn't afford amusement parks, roller coasters, shit like that. But the kids loved roller coasters. So instead of a roller coaster, I would take them to an empty parking lot at night. And I would put them in the trunk of my car, and I would just drive around real fast. Like Space Mountain or some shit, you know? The fun for you is pumping the brakes, because you can hear ooh, ooh in the trunk, which is pretty funny. We used to play IKEA, hide and go seek at IKEA. It was like a big indoor house where they wouldn't let the kids outside. It was perfect, you know? I will tell you also, I was parenting before there were baby changing stations in men's rooms. And I'm sure a lot of you guys did too. And if you had to parent before then, you changed your kids in some weird places. I will tell you, one time we were at IKEA, and so I'm walking out of the men's room. Jacob, I need to change his diaper. There's no baby changing station in there. Jacob was like 1.5 years. My daughter, Caitlin, was probably 5. And Trevor, my oldest son, was like 6.5. And I come out of the men's room, no baby changing station. I see a woman come out of the woman's room, and I said, hey, can you do me a favor? Is there a baby changing station in there? And she said, yeah. I said, is there anybody in there? And she said, no. I said, can you do me a favor? Can you watch the door? I just need to change my son. And she was like, yeah, of course, no problem. And so I put Jacob down on the baby changing station. I know we're under some sort of time constraint because we're in the woman's room. And I take off his diaper. And if you've ever changed a baby boy before, you know that if you don't put the splash guard up, there's a chance that when the air hits the dick, they're going to pee all over you. And so I took that diaper down, and he peed all over me, man. And I had never had pee in my mouth I hadn't paid for, you know? So, I'm honestly too high to remember where I was in that story. Oh, thank you. Pee in my mouth. Thank you, dude, for... Thanks for screaming that out from the darkness. I appreciate that. Pee in my mouth. Yeah, okay, I got you. And so I got this pee all over myself, man. And I'm like, ooh. And my daughter's there, and so I take my shirt off and I hand it to my daughter. Now, I want to tell you something. At 5 years old, my daughter was already the smartest, most responsible person in my family. If you have a girl, you know how smart they get very quickly. Look, if you have a 3-year-old girl, she can have a full conversation with you and tell you about her feelings and why she has them. A 3-year-old boy's like, hey, I found my butthole again. It's still back there. Yesterday I looked for it. I guess my finger was in the wrong spot, but today I nailed it. Has anyone had a girl and then a boy? Okay, so when you have a girl and then a boy, what happens is you have this 3-year-old person that you live with who has opinions and fucking intelligence that's so far beyond anything you would imagine. And then the boy comes at 3 and you're like, I mean, we should get him tested, right? I mean, boy, that's fucking, and between 1 and 2, when you hold, because you want to hold your son, and they put their hand on your face, and you're like, oh, your finger was in your asshole again, huh, buddy? All right. That's the second time you gave me pink eye this month, I'll tell you what. Well, my daughter's smart, man. She's smarter than all of them. So I say to her, hey, I give her my shirt, and I go, hey, do me a favor. Just put this under the water in the sink. Just get a little pee out. She said, okay. And so I turn back to my oldest son, and he's grabbing his butt like this. He's going, And I go, hey, we're not doing that in here. We can wait for the men's room for that, but we're not going to do that in here. He was like, no, I really got to go right now. I got to go right now. And I was like, give me 5 minutes. He was like, I don't got 5 minutes. And he goes into the stall. I'm like, hey. Jacob's getting fidgety, right? And guys, if you have more than one kid, you know that different things work on different kids. right? And the only way to calm Jacob down when he was a baby was to hold him upside down by his feet. It was something about, look, when the blood rushed into his head, you could see him like, oh, you fell for it again? Huh? All right. He fucking early stoner maneuver for sure. But so I turned back to my daughter to see how she's doing with my shirt. She's got the water on full blast, and she's washing my shirt like she's down by the river. Do you know what I mean? Like she's got it over a rock or some shit. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm trying to get all the pee out. I said, babe, it's gonna be wet all day. And she goes, no, it's not. I'm gonna do this. It was a real depressing moment because that realization, I was like, you're my smartest kid. Holy shit. So it dawns on me, we've been in this woman's room for too long. Let's get out of here. I knock on the stall door and I say to my son, I go, hey dude, pinch it off wherever you're at. We gotta get out of here. And he goes, okay, hey, and he said, can you check me to make sure I'm clean? Yeah, you know. Okay. So, look, parents know. Some of you who aren't parents, there's a couple things you need to know. Things happen as a parent that they didn't write in any of the books. And the reason they didn't write them in a book is because if someone had ever written them in a book, everyone would have read it and been like, I'm not being a fucking parent. Are you kidding? There are many things. One of those things happens to be, at some point in time in your life as a parent, a small human is going to walk into a room you're in, they're going to be naked. You don't get to pick the room. And they're going to walk in, and they're going to turn around, and they're going to go, hey, will you check this to make sure it's clean? And the first time it happens is a fucking shocker. You're like, what? What, is this parenting? I quit. What is that? Is your asshole open right now? How long does this stage last? I don't like this. You know you're in the living room right now. Your asshole's open right in the living room. Did you say hello to the guests? Why is your asshole open in the living room? Oh no, it fucks you up. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're not ready for it, you know? But I was like, yeah, dude. I said, I'll take a look, you know? And I go to open the door and it's locked. And I go, dude, you gotta open the door. I can't get in. And he goes, I don't want to walk over there just in case I'm not clean. And I go, well, how do you want me to check? And he said, just look through the crack in the door. So I'm looking through the crack in this bathroom door, and I'm like, get closer, show me your butthole. I can't see it from there. I can't see your butthole from there. You're gonna have to get closer if you want me to see it. And a woman walked in. Yeah, not the one we left outside, just somebody we had never seen before. And all she saw was a grown man shirtless, holding a naked baby upside down, peeking through a stall door, going, get closer, show me your butthole. If you want me to see your butthole, you're gonna have to get closer. Hey, she didn't even see my daughter working like an Asian kid at a Nike factory. Yo, she screamed. She screamed and she ran out. Yeah, I don't blame her. So I turned to the kids. I'm like, hey, everybody, we gotta go. Daddy's about to get arrested, you know? It's time. I just wanted to get out of there before she came back with whoever she went to go get, you know? So I put, you know, my wet pee shirt on, and we put the diaper on Jacob, and you could tell by my oldest son's walk, he was not super confident in the wipe, you know, it was like this. And he kept talking about where he thought he missed. Can I tell you something? He was not a confident wiper. His theory was that since he was a right-hander, he was strong on the right, but weak on the left. So he'd always be like, check the left. Did I get the left? Check the left. So he's waddling, you know. And I'm just trying to get out of the store before there's trouble, but here she comes, man. And not with 2 security guards, with 2 police officers. You could tell by the speed with which they walked towards me and the serious look on their faces that she had told them exactly what she saw. Dude walked right up to me and he goes, "Hey! Were you just shirtless in the woman's room holding a naked baby upside down, asking a woman to see her butthole?" I laughed a little too. I did because I was like, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. When you run it together like that, it does sound pretty bad. Yeah. Totally get why you walk towards me like that, yeah. But he was like, hey, I go, no, man, no baby, change of station, and my son had to poop. And he goes, oh, which kid? I go, right here, him. And he was like, well, bring him over, I need to verify. I go, verify? Like, he's 7, he's already a little uncomfortable with the wiping situation. But if you talk to him about pooping, it's really gonna embarrass him. I was like, can we just not do that? And he was like, no, actually, unless you wanna see someone get embarrassed. I was like, no, I'll get him right now. But I walked over to him, man. Do you know how badly I wanted to be like, hey, Trev, just go show him. Oh, he would have been too. He would have been like, see, I'm strong on the right, but the left is a little weak is probably where it is. I will tell you, man, it's a weird time to be a comic. People ask, the question I get asked the most, and I think a lot of people do, is what's it like doing comedy during cancel culture? That's made up. Anybody who's ever been canceled is now a bigger star than they were before. It's not hurting anyone's career, so don't worry about it. Any type of comedy you want to see is going to be out there somewhere for you. I will tell you, last year, somebody tried to get me in trouble for a joke I was telling. I was telling a joke where this person had an accent. And after a show, somebody was like, you can't do accents anymore. They're offensive. And I was like, you should go back to sleep. Here's the deal, man. Can accents be racist and offensive? Of course they can. They're not when I use them. Yo, I'm just trying to tell a story, and if I think the accent is important to the story, not gratuitous, but important to the story, I'm using the accent, okay? I know what my intent is, and my intent is just to make people laugh. Let me give you the story, and then you guys tell me if you think it was offensive. I'm feeling pretty good so far. So when I was a younger guy, man, I lived in a studio apartment, one room with this other guy. And so our beds were real close to each other. The bedroom is the living room, is the kitchen, right? And so if you've ever lived in close quarters like that with someone before, and they were somebody who had a lot more sex than you did, there's probably a pretty good chance you had to pretend like you were asleep at least one time. And so I'm home on a Friday night, and my roommate comes in. And he's got this girl with him, gorgeous, 6 foot, super athletic. We all know her. Super friendly, one of the funniest people I've ever met. Truly, a super successful lawyer. And they lay down in my roommate's bed. Oh, and she also happened to be deaf. Okay. Don't get ahead of me. Okay, here we go. All right. So, they're in the bed behind me, right? And I can hear them kissing, just. And then I can hear clothes rustling, just. And then they start to have sex. And I just hear. And I was like, is that bed haunted? Like, what the fuck? Are they trying to find a dolphin on sonar over there? What is going on? And then it started happening faster. It was just like, And I was like, oh, I gotta get out of here. I don't like this at all. This is not making me comfortable, So I tried to sneak out of the bed like a gentleman, And my buddy was like, hey, don't go anywhere. He goes, if you leave, she's gonna know you can hear us, and she's gonna get embarrassed, and she's gonna leave. And I was like, dude, don't talk to me. And he goes like this. He goes, she can't hear me. I was like, hey, I don't feel good. I gotta go, dude. I don't know. I don't like it. He goes, no, you gotta stick it out, man. You gotta stick it out. And I was like, I said, all right, but speed it up. So I got my back to him. Guys, I got the pillow squeezed so tightly over my ears. But no matter how tightly I had him squeezed, every now and then, you know what would squeeze through? And I was like, nah, can't hear that ever again in my life. So I rolled back over and I go, hey man, how do we speed this up? Do you need me to blow on your asshole? Like, hey, 5 minutes a gay is worth this being over. So you tell me what you need, dude. You need a couple of my knuckles? I'm in there for you, dude. Tell me where your button is. Honk, honk, I'll push that motherfucker right now. I go, what's the problem? He goes, I don't know why it's taking so long. And I was like, fucking me neither. What are we gonna do? He was like, I'm gonna see if she'll go downtown on me. Sometimes that makes things go faster. And I said, okay. So, right, their bed's behind me. And by the way, all of a sudden I can't hear her. But I can hear him. It's worse. It's quiet, and then just like a couple minutes later, because I still have the pillow over I just hear, by the way, remember, my back is to him. And I'm trying not to look, And all I hear is, and I was like, I kind of need to know what that noise is. I wouldn't have forgiven myself if I hadn't turned and just looked once, right? And I turned, and she is going downtown on him. He's scooched up to the top of the bed, right? And I just see him going, So I just lean in and I go, dude. What the fuck is happening right now? And I'm gonna tell you what he said. I didn't need to write a punchline because I knew I wouldn't beat it. This is exactly what he said to me. He goes, she's so toothy. I said, what? He goes, yeah, I keep trying to tell her to stop, but she can't hear me. I said, what are you gonna do? He goes, well, I tried to scooch out of the way, but I ran out of room. I'm at the top of the bed. I go, what's gonna happen? He goes, turn your head, you're not gonna wanna see this. Which made me go, what are you gonna do? And I turned back just in time, guys, to see him gently cup the side of her head and just go, no! And I will tell you one last thing, man. The guy who was really mad about that joke who caught me outside, he came up to me. He was so specific, too. He was like, hey, that joke, huh? I go, yeah. And he was like, you still friends with those people? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, how's she gonna like that joke? And I was like, she's never gonna hear it. And if she comes to the show, I'm gonna do the joke like this. It'll totally fuck her up. She's not gonna know what's happening. Hey, you guys got good weed up here, by the way. Congratulations. I no longer fly into Canada with weed. I fell for that a couple too many times. But I do always fly. I'm a nervous flyer. Any nervous flyers in here? Yeah. And do you medicate before you get on the plane? You do? Yeah, me too. I take like 100 milligram edible. And it's not my first flight, everybody. I've been on a bunch of planes. And I've lived in a state with legal weed for a long time, so my tolerance is probably higher than it should be or needs to be. But I'll take 100 milligrams so I can relax and sleep on the plane. Now, I'll tell you this about edibles for me. If I can fight through the sleep part of the edible, it makes me super alert. Does that happen to anybody else? Super focused. Like, get shit done, right? Right? Okay. So I mistimed my edible. I was getting sleepy in the airport. I'm like, I can't fall asleep in the airport. So I fight through the sleep. And when I get on that plane, I am alert, like, alert, right? And so they seat me in the exit row. And it's a small plane, so there's only 2 seats. And there's nobody next to me. And if you've never been in an exit row before you take off, the flight attendant will come down to you and say, "You're in the exit row. In case of an emergency, I need to know that you're willing and able to assist. And I need a verbal confirmation." So she comes down to me and she goes, "You're in the exit row. In case of an emergency, I need to know that you are willing and able to assist. And I need a verbal confirmation." And I look at her and I go, "I am ready." And she said, "I definitely did not ask you that." She said, "I need to know that you're willing and able to assist, and I need a verbal confirmation." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm willing and able. I'm also ready." By the way, she was pretty funny. She was like, "That's great. I'll let everyone know." And she walked up the aisle. Now, look, guys, when I'm that focused, I'm lasered in on my job. And my job is to be willing and able to assist, right? And so I think in order to do that to the best of my capability, I've never been in this position before, I should probably open up a line of communication with the guy in the exit row across from me. My thinking at the time is, if shit goes down, better to be a team, you know? At least we should have a get to know you. So he's got the earbuds in, and I'm going, "Hey, oh! Hey!" And he takes his earbuds out. He goes, "Yeah." I go, hey, dude, we're in the exit row. And, we need to be willing and able to assist, so I thought maybe we should get to know each other." And he goes, "Why would you think that?" And I was like, "Well, just in case something happens, man, I thought maybe we should have a plan. Just something real quick." And he goes, "I'm going to sleep." And then I said maybe the dumbest thing I've ever said to another human being out loud. I said, "I'll cover for you." Yo, he gave me one of these, guys. If a stranger does this to you, they don't fucking like you at all. This is a fuck you. Hey, that's a fuck you to someone. Ha ha! Right to your face. Ha ha! So, the plane takes off. Guys, 15 minutes into the flight, it fucking... Has anyone ever been on a plane that it fucks you up, right? Now, I'll tell you something. They scared me so much, guys, that to this day, I'm jumpy, man. I'm jumpy. And to this day, if you scare me, I'm going to jazz hand 100% of the time. Not only am I going to jazz hand, it's going to come along with this noise. Ah! Every time. So the plane fucking... me. Ah! The dude in the exit row across from me leans over and he goes, "Not willing and able." I was scared. I was clutching the pearls and shit. I was like, "What is that?" I looked out the window and there was lightning. I was like, not me. Nope. Boom. And here she comes down the aisle. And she goes, "Hey." I go, "Hey." "You remember when we spoke earlier?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "And you remember when you asked me if I was willing and able?" She was like, "Yeah." I go, "I'm not." She said, "You're not willing and able?" I go, "Or ready. I'm not that guy anymore. I don't know where that guy went, but he's not here." So I said, "Can you switch me out?" And she was like, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, don't you have an alternate?" She said, you think we sell alternate seats for the exit row? And I said, yeah. And she was like, no. But it's just a weather pattern. I promise you it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We're going to fly through it. If you need me again, ding me. And I said, okay. So I'm sitting in the exit row. And guys, if you've taken an edible before, you've had at least one bad night where shit spiraled out of control and you were just trying to talk yourself down off the ledge. I was doing exactly what all you guys do. I was in that exit row, rocking back and forth, going, you're okay. You can't OD on an edible, I don't think. Does altitude make you higher? Like, just fucking spiraling, right? And I'm starting to calm down a little bit in the plane. Me. And I was like, hey, fuck this. And I tapped the dude on the shoulder who's sitting in front of me. Hey, you gotta go. Hey, you gotta go. Hey, you gotta go. Hey, I'll finish the story. You gotta go. You can't. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There's a mic right next to you. I'm not gonna be able to any of this. And so like, I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay. I take the shirt off. Hey, I'm gonna say this one time to you, and only one time to you. No, look at me.
Yes,
I'm gonna say this one time to you. If I have to tell you to quiet down again, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. This is my one time. I'm totally with you. Okay, just wanted to say that out loud one time. Okay, guys.
All right.
I want you to stay. Cool, thanks. No, dude, you're good. 4 more footsteps and you'd have been fucking out of here, I'll tell you that right now. Man, I heard a fucking dead sprint coming down. I'm like, that was like Morse code for I'm coming to kick her the fuck out. Cool, thank you, man, appreciate it. Everybody doesn't have to be dead-ass quiet. I mean, I don't know. Nobody died or anything. We're just kind of pausing down, and then... Actually, listen, man. I want to tell you, this is not... I've performed a gazillion times. So I want you to know that this is one of the things that I love the most about live shows. I've done shows where all of the lights went out, and I couldn't use a microphone. I actually had to go pee in the middle of that show. It was in Salt Lake, and I was doing this. I go, hey, everybody, don't be weird. I'm going to the bathroom. Nobody follow me in. But some dude did. Yo, and he stood at the urinal next to me. Didn't take his dick out. And I'm peeing, or fucking trying to, do you know what I mean? A little bit of stage fright. I'm like, what's happening right now? And he looks at me, he goes, never thought I'd be this close to you. I'm like, and by the way, I'm thinking, if I thought it was uncomfortable before, it is fucking on a 10 right now. I've seen a couple finger bang each other. Oh my God, yeah. Well, it wasn't like each other, it was just him, you know. Yeah, it wasn't like a fuck. Yeah, that happened in Cleveland. The weirdest part wasn't the finger bang. It was that he eyeballed me the whole fucking time. And I was like, this is some prison shit right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I'm hard, but whatever. Yeah, so what my point is, I like live shows, man. And it's one of the reasons I recorded here in a place like this. Because it's awake, it's alive. There's a fucking energy in here. Pee in my mouth, guy. Where was I? Oh, what's that? Second drop. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, listen. We'll see if this joke works when you stop it for 10 minutes. I wish I could do like, they recap at the beginning of a show where I just go, let me just...
You tap the guy on the shoulder.
Yeah, nope, thanks. pee in my mouth guy is paying attention. Holy shit. By the way, that's a tough nickname. I'll come up with a different one for you. Yeah, don't do that to me, you fuck. So, and the, okay. And I tap the dude on the shoulder. He's sitting in front of me. And I'm like, hey. And he goes, what's up? I go, how's this flight been for you? And he goes, it's fine. I go, cool, switch seats with me. And he was like, what? I go, dude, I don't know if you know this, but back in this row, you have to be willing and able to assist. I'm just not anymore. So just switch seats with me. And he goes, dude, I don't want to sit back there. That seat doesn't recline. Guys, you know I walked on the plane 100 milligrams of confidence. I am now 100 milligrams of anxiety. And I'm trying to explain to this dude, yo, man, this is where the heroes sit. Do you know what I mean? This is who helps the survivors off the plane, bro. I can't even help myself right now. I need you to sit here. I'm 100 milligrams of anxiety, guys. I'm trying to explain to this dude why he's so important. And he stands up and he says this to me. He goes, hey, dude, if we crash, everybody dies. Doesn't matter where you sit. Ding, 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 ding. Yo, she came running down. I hit the button 17 times. I think she knew something was up, you know? She goes, yeah. I go, hey, this guy just said if we crash, everybody dies. Doesn't matter where you sit. Willing and able, doesn't matter. When you crash, everybody dies. Once you crash, everybody dies on this plane? And she goes, could you keep your voice down a little bit? She said, first of all, we're not crashing. We're not crashing. We're not crashing. And she looks at the guy and she goes, why? Why would you tell him everybody dies? Why would you say that to him? And the guy goes, he's a grown man. That stung a little bit, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, oh. I don't blame him, man. He sat in front of two. Ah! He's not sure what's happening behind him, really. So I say to her, I go, look, I'm about to freak out. I don't feel prepared or ready for this seat, and switch me out. And she goes, I really don't know what to do. We've already calibrated the weight on the plane. And I was like, well, what if I don't believe in that? She was like, yeah, that doesn't matter. I said, I don't know what to do. And she goes, me neither. We're just gonna have to see how it goes. And I was like, ask the captain. She was like, what? I go, ask, if the captain makes an announcement and is like, hey, will someone switch seats with this dude because he's scared? Everybody loves the captain. Somebody's gonna be like, fucking, aye, captain. And they're gonna come by and they're gonna switch seats with me. Do me a favor, ask the captain. And she goes, you want me to ask the captain to see if someone will switch seats with you because you're scared? And I was like, yeah, that would be great. Thanks, I appreciate it, yeah. Guys, not kidding, 5 minutes later. You could tell by that sigh, he did not want to make that particular announcement at all. And he was just like, this is your captain speaking. I want to apologize. I understand it's getting a little bumpy back there. I'll tell you what we're going to do. It's just a little bit of a weather pattern. We're gonna go ahead and fly around it. Might add a couple minutes to the trip, but I think one person's gonna be really happy. And no switching seats, okay? He said that with his real voice. That's not his sexy one. He was like, hey, dude. He was talking to me, you know? And I white-knuckled the rest of the flight. When you land a lot of times a flight attendant and pilot will greet you on your way off the plane. Thank you for flying with us. We appreciate your business. Thank you for flying with us. We appreciate your business. Thank you for flying with us. We appreciate your business. And I walked up and she was just like, and he reached into his pocket and he gave me a set of those little wings that they give kids. He goes, here you go, little buddy. He called me little buddy. The one thing I think Jacob and I were most different on is like when I told him that I had a fuck your feelings relationship with my friends. And that doesn't mean, it means we love each other, but it means you can say whatever you want to each. You say the worst things to your best friends. That's what happens. That's why they're your best friends, you know? And, I had this group of dudes that I went to a spring break on, definitely a fuck your feelings group of dudes. And by the way, if you have feelings, you're in the wrong friend group. That's basically how that goes, you know? And I remember one time and by the way, when I was a freshman, I did drugs. But because I didn't do them in high school. I didn't do it in high school because my brothers did them, and I was like, well, they did them. I'm just gonna do all mine when I leave the house, like a gentleman, you know? And so the first year, I was really into a drug called ecstasy. Okay, we know who's holding in here, all right. But, and I'll tell you something about ecstasy, guys. Ecstasy is the only drug I ever took that changed me physically. You could tell by looking at me that I was doing ecstasy. It's the only drug, okay. So for whatever reason, and I don't know why, but for whatever reason, when I took ecstasy, my right eye stopped working. And every now and then it would pop open like, what's going on? Nothing, cool, and just shut again. Not only that, but my lower lip, not my upper lip, just my lower lip got super dry. So I was this dude. Walking around trying to pick up girls, like, what's up? And I'll tell you something else. So when I really wanted to have sex on this spring break. And I thought the only way for me to have sex, and I don't know why I thought this, was if I danced with somebody. And I didn't know how to dance, so I was like, I'm gonna invent my own dance. This is pre-YouTube, pre-TikTok. Guys my age, we were not out inventing dances. Pee in my mouth guys, not inventing dances, right? And so I was like, if I make it weird enough, I think somebody might have sex with me. So I go to the club, we're at spring break, me and these dudes. And we're at the club, and I see this girl, and I walk up to her, and I'm like, I will tell you, by the way, look, I was not confident in approaching women. If I had met you before, I could talk to you about anything. But if I had never met you before, it was so hard for me. And guys who could walk up to a group of women, man, that is take your dick out energy I just never fucking had, you know? And plus, I think somewhere in the DNA of men is hunter. And the hunter's instinct is not to attack the pack. I'm going after the three-legged antelope down by the watering hole. Are you kidding me right now? I don't want a runner. I want one with a limp that can't get away. This is the one I want. I'm not trying to make it harder on myself, everybody, you know? So I walk up to this girl, and I'm like, I said, you want to dance? And she said, absolutely not. She started to walk away. I go, hey, don't go anywhere. I invented my own dance. And if you dance with me, I'll show it to you. And she said, are you a good dancer? And I was like, not particularly, no. And she said, then I will absolutely dance with you. However, if you stop doing the dance at any point in time during the song, I'm done. I got to see it the whole time. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so, I had only practiced the dance to one song. So I needed the DJ to play the song. I wasn't confident that I could do the dance to a different song, right? So I walk up to, I go, let me get the DJ to play my song. And I walk up to the DJ and I'm like, hey man. I go, I invented my own dance. And he goes, I can't think of one good reason why you'd tell me that. And I go, oh, no, it's not. This girl, she's gonna dance with me. I'm gonna do the dance. I'm gonna get laid for sure. I go play the song. And he goes, what's the song? And I tell him, and he was like, it's too late for that song. If you come back tomorrow at 10, I'll play it for both of you. And I was like, well, how am I gonna get her back here? And this dude just leaned outside the booth. He goes, hey, come back tomorrow at 10, I'll play the song, he'll do the dance. So I show up at 9:45 the next night, guys, fucking ha 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 ha. And in she walks, but she's not by herself tonight. Oh no, come on, man. Every woman in here knows. She went home to her friends and she was like, hey, guess what we're doing tomorrow? Some dry lip pirate invented his own dance. So they walk in and we're waving to each other. It's getting near 10 o'clock and the dance floor is about this big. And I say to her, I go, hey, meet me on the dance floor. I gotta get him to play the song. She goes, okay. So I walk up to the DJ and I go, hey man, this fucking guy. I go, hey man. You remember me? And he goes, yeah, dude. And he was like, you get the song? You ready for the song? I go, I'm ready for the song. I go, play the song. I'm gonna do the dance. I'm gonna get laid for sure. I go, but give me a good intro. Give me a good intro. And he goes, okay. So, by the way, was anybody in here partying in the 90s? Okay, so for those of us partying in the 90s, we will tell you that if MTV was on your spring break, it was the fucking place to be. Not only, by the way, MTV used to play music videos. And so, but like, and not only was MTV at the spring break, guys, the king of MTV spring break, Pauly fucking Shore was there. Now look, man, Paulie's a great dude, great comic, and back when I was going on spring break, if he was at your spring break, that was gonna be a good fucking time. And so, and they're teasing, every bar you walk into teases, hey, Paulie's coming tonight. Because there was no social media, so you just stuck around. And so they were telling the people in the club all night, Paulie's coming. And they would have one person walk through the crowd every hour and go, hey, we're about to make the announcement. So everybody's waiting for this announcement, right? So I go to the guy, I go, hey, give me a good intro. And he goes, okay. And he turns off the music and he goes, spring break, how we doing? And the whole place fucking, yeah. And he goes, are you ready for the reason you came here tonight? The place is like, whoa, yeah. And he goes, are you ready for the thing you came here to see? And people are fucking, and he goes, are you ready for the thing you're gonna tell your friends about tomorrow? And they're gonna be like, I should have come with you last night. The place starts chanting his name. Paulie, Paulie, Paul. They're going fucking crazy, right? And he goes, that's right. But first, my friend Josh invented a dance. And he goes, he's gonna show it to you right now. And the whole place, right? And I'm walking up to the dance floor. And he goes, and he said if I play this song, he's getting laid for sure. And I was like, so I walk up to the dance floor. Dance floor is about this size, okay? And maybe a little bigger. It's empty. They're not letting anyone on the dance floor except for the two of us. They're calling it a dance contest. And if you want to watch, you have to stand along the railing. So everyone's just, and it's just me and her in the middle. And I walk up to her and I'm like, by the way, here was my plan. You want to know what my plan was? This is a good plan. How old are you, young man? Right there, how old are you? Yeah, with the beard.
20.
This dude right up in front of you is 20? Oh, yeah. You're 19. Yeah, dude. You have the 19-year-old, you know, when you can only grow the hair under the chin. Do you know what I mean? It's very Amish. I appreciate you being here, Jebediah. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, man, so I was your age when this was going down, and I'm gonna tell you, what's your name? Caleb? So here's what was happening, and here was my plan, and my plan was I was gonna tell this girl the name of the dance, because if you invent a dance, you gotta name it. I was gonna tell her the name of the dance, she was gonna dance with me, and then we were gonna have sex. Yep. He's like, yeah, I don't see any problem with that plan at all. Yeah, A, B, fuck. I had the same plan. I would have gone with the same thing. Are the finger bangers back? That is amazing. So I'm gonna name the dance. So I walk up to her and I lean into her and I go. I go. Are you ready to see the Giddy-Up? She said, wait, is that the name of the dance? And I said, yeah. And she goes, hold on. She turns to her friends and she goes, hey, it's gonna be better than we thought. And so, by the way, do you guys want to hear the song? Yeah. Do you want to see the dance? Yeah. I'm gonna do that right now. Hold on one second. Listen, it's funny, I see a couple dudes around my age, I started to stretch the hammy, they were like, good move, I would have done the same thing. Unprepared movement, that is not right, no. I'll tell you how old I am. I'm at an age that if I step down a curb and it's a 1/4 inch longer than I thought it was gonna be, I'm gonna be laid up for about 6 months. That's gonna be the end of my fucking life. Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I gotta stretch out. Caleb, so what happens when you get a little older is you pull muscles. You are at an age where you still think that's a euphemism for jerking off. It is not. You're like, I pulled a muscle today. Oh! Here's the deal. Okay. Hey, okay. So I walk up to her and I go, wait a second. I walk up to her and I go, no. I said, do you want to see the Giddy-Up? And she was like, yeah. And I go, DJ, hit it. Stop. That's the whole dance. But guys, I'd only practice 15 seconds at a time. That's a fucking 4-minute song. So you know how hard it is to do that? That's bad. At a CrossFit class, you didn't fucking sign up for it, guys. I was wrecked. 2 minutes in, I was gassed. There was sweat dripping off of my body, but I remember her saying, if you stop, I'm done. So at one point, I was for real so gassed. I was doing it like... At one point, I looked behind me and there were like 50 people like... It was amazing. But the end of the song, because I had no idea, 4 minutes, and I'm just gassed, right? She didn't want to rub my back because it was soaking wet. But I'm breathing, I'm like... And she goes, it was a great Giddy-Up. And I said, thanks a lot. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. She said, you ought to be proud of yourself. There were like 400 people doing the Giddy-Up. Guys, everybody in that club was doing the Giddy-Up. For fucking right. Yo, in my ecstasy brain, I was like, I guess I'm the dance guy now. No need to go back to college for this guy. So I'm gassed. And she says, hey, do you want to grab a drink? I go, do you want to grab one with my friends and I? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And she said, I'll meet you down there. I said, cool. I'm walking down to my friends, and I have a very fuck your feelings relationship with my buddies, like I said. And if you're in one of these groups, you know that people are hardest on each other when you do something good, right? If you crush something, they're going to lay into you even harder. And how could I have crushed the Giddy-Up more than that? 400 people doing it? Guy, if you're in one of these friend groups, what you know is you're almost looking forward to your turn. Do you know what I mean? Like, you give it out, it's just as fun to get it. And I knew I was going to get it so savagely because I had just crushed that. Do you know how embarrassed they were for me? Do you know how badly they felt for me? One of my friends stood up and gave me a hug. He rubbed my back and he said, I like how you always put yourself out there. I was like, what? And then she comes down and she goes, hey. And I go, hey. She goes, these your friends? I go, yeah. She goes, hey, did you guys see the Giddy-Up? And my buddy goes, is that what you named that fucking dance? I go, yeah. And he goes, she said, are you coming home with me or what? And I was like, yeah. And my buddy looked at her and he goes, be honest. This is a Make-A-Wish situation or... I will tell you, this was a monumental moment in my life, everybody. I'm going to tell you why. Not just because I had sex with a stranger. Oh, ho, ho, ho. It's the first night that I realized that being embarrassed is bullshit. It's made up in your own head. Being embarrassed is predicated on what you think other people are thinking about you. And then when you realize that, one, nobody's thinking about you. Nobody notices you, and nobody gives a shit about you. I'm including myself in this. Nobody gives a fuck. So why would you let any of those people dictate 1 second of your life, right? Because you're in your own head. And how I know that is, guys, I stayed at this woman's hotel room long enough to sober up. And so as I looked back on the night, I realized, oh, it didn't go quite as well as I thought it did. That wasn't 400 people dancing with me. That was 400 people dancing at me, right? It was a humiliating situation. And as I thought about it, I'm like, did I name that the fucking Giddy-Up? And I started to get humiliated and ashamed and embarrassed. And I turned to her, because I needed to know. I go, tell me something. What am I doing here? Like, you saw that dance. Why am I here? And she was like, are you kidding me? You humiliated yourself in front of 400 people. All on the off chance that I might have sex with you. I found that very sexy, very charming. Then I was like, I might need to rethink how I walk about this world right now. So I'm walking home, and it's about 5 or 6 in the morning, something like that. And I just had sex with a stranger. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I was clearly on my way home to be a dance instructor of some kind, right? And I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I do like that life is unpredictable. I do like that right when you think you have everything figured out, life's like, is that your dick? And you're like, this is life, I forgot, right? And life definitely kicked me in the dick that day. I'm walking on the beach. When I used to take ecstasy, it made me think that I could drink more than I can. I don't drink anymore, but when I used to drink, the only thing I ever drank was straight tequila. I love the way it tastes. I love the fucking high. I love everything about it. And so, but if you drink too much tequila and you throw up, there's no casual tequila throw up. Nobody's ever kind of thrown up on tequila. It's never been like, pardon me. That's not how it comes out. It's a violent happening. It's your whole body. You know how violent it is? You remember where you were when it fucking happened. You're like Mark's Backyard 2017. I'm not drinking tequila anymore. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna throw up. So I dig a hole. Because I don't want to ruin anyone's beach day. My plan is that I'm gonna dig a hole, I'm gonna throw up in the hole, and then I'm just gonna cover it like a cat. So I get to right here, I'm about to throw up, and then life kicked me right in the dick, man. And I was like, oh my shit too. So I turned around and I dug another hole is what I did. I just dug a second hole. Some mornings are 2 whole mornings, everybody. Don't judge me. I'm not the only person who's ever shit in my tub and thrown up in my sink at the same time. Fuck you. Not just me. So now I'm butt-ass naked, hovering over these 2 holes. I don't want to poop in my shorts, you know? I'm hovering over these holes. And my only solace really is that, look, I'm by myself. Nope. I hear this couple coming, and I'm like, honestly, you know what I did, guys? They were coming. I legit just froze like a deer, like... But I couldn't hold it in anymore, man. And at both holes, it's just like, Wah! And from behind me, I just hear this woman go, hey, isn't that the Giddy-Up guy? Vancouver, thank you so much for coming out tonight.
How many squirrels did you see taking a bite?
I just have a couple questions.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to take this answer seriously.
Yeah.
Are they attacking all at once?
Yes.
Or from the ground or from the trees?
Wait,
Is it a dual level attack?
wait, by the way, that was actually a great question.
Dude, if they're dropping
And
my
I
head,
like how
that's a
you
problem.
said
You know what I
that.
mean?
I like how you said that, from the ground or from the trees.
If they're attacking from above, there's a strong panic factor that's going to happen. Because as soon as the first one drops, I'm going to do a lot of this. But if I can see him coming, I can get my shit together. I don't like my odds if they're dropping out of the trees. I'm not going to lie to you.
Sound like a World War II vet.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you, I'm not a great fighter, and so my instinct always, somebody told me, a friend of mine who was a good fighter, and he was like, you're not a good fighter? I go, no. And I go, what should I do if I get in a fight? He goes, act crazy. I go, what do you mean? He goes, shit in your hand and start smearing it on me. I just don't think that would work with squirrels. I think the squirrel would be like, let's get some. I like that. Dude, how crazy would it be to see me in the front yard with shit in my hands and like 20 squirrels?
Well, you might as well just use the shit and throw it at them. Like, that's the only way I can get multiple at once. Honestly, I'm going 10. That's the answer I'm going.
Going way more than 10. I'm gonna take one by the tail and I'm gonna beat his friends with him. I'm gonna be like, yeah, dude, this is great. Central Squirrel's over to the hotel. I'm fucking ready.
By the way, that's
where did I get my jacket? If I gotta be honest, it's my girlfriend's. So where she got it, I have zero idea. But I think she's throwing some hints at me, which kind of hurt my feelings.
Yeah, that might hurt might hurt my feelings if your mom was like, wear this Viagra jacket.
Yeah, I actually wore it for you.
You wore it for me? Fuck you.